In the first quarter of 2026, nearly 8,000 California homes entered the foreclosure process. That's just in 3 months. And the banks behind most of those filings aren't JP Morgan or Bank of America. They're smaller, regional institutions, the ones nobody was watching closely. According to ATTOM, one of the most trusted property data companies in the country, California ranked third in the nation for foreclosure starts in Q1 2026, with 7,985 properties. And that number is up 20% compared to the same time last year. Here's what makes this story different from what you usually hear about foreclosures. The people losing homes right now are not reckless borrowers. A lot of them bought during a normal market with decent credit and a plan that made sense at the time, but the plan stopped working and the banks are now moving in. Let's talk about what's actually happening. To understand what's going on right now, you have to go back to 2020 and 2021. During those years, mortgage rates were sitting below 3%. People were buying homes everywhere. Riverside, Fresno, Stockton, Bakersfield, cities that had always been considered affordable compared to LA or San Francisco, were suddenly getting multiple offers over asking price. Regional and community banks in California were handing out loans fast. They were competing hard against the big national lenders, and to win that business, some of them pushed adjustable rate products and stretched their lending standards. Then 2022 happened. The Federal Reserve started raising interest rates at the fastest pace in 4 decades. Home prices peaked and started pulling back, and borrowers who had taken adjustable rate mortgages began seeing their monthly payments reset higher, sometimes by hundreds of dollars per month. By late 2024 and into 2025, some of those same regional banks were quietly reporting rising loan losses. They weren't making big announcements about it, but the numbers were there in their filings. The FDIC's 2026 Risk Review, which is a publicly available federal report, flagged exactly this problem. It noted that CRE loan concentrations, which stands for commercial real estate, are particularly high at mid-sized banks. Institutions with between $1 billion and $100 billion in assets have median CRE loan concentrations sitting around 300% of their Tier 1 capital. That's a technical way of saying these banks bet heavily on real estate loans, and now they're exposed. And here's the thing nobody's really talking about on the news. When regulators see those numbers, they put pressure on the bank to clean house. The fastest way for a bank to clean house is to start the foreclosure clock on loans that are going bad. Let's put some real numbers on the table because the data here is pretty striking. According to ATTOM's Q1 2026 foreclosure market report, a total of 82,631 homes across the United States started the foreclosure process in the first quarter alone. That's up 7% from the previous quarter and up 20% from a year ago. California accounted for 7,985 of those starts. Going back to January 2026 specifically, California had 2,790 foreclosure starts in that single month, placing it third in the country behind Florida and Texas. And the trend had been building for a while. ATTOM's 2026 report noted that foreclosure activity had risen year over year for 12 consecutive months. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York's Q4 2025 Household Debt and Credit Report added another data point that matters. The share of mortgage debt that is 90 or more days delinquent, meaning homeowners who've missed 3 or more payments, climbed to 1.38% by the end of 2025. That's up from 1.09% just a year earlier, and it's the highest level in a decade. On home prices, the California Association of Realtors reported that the statewide median home price was around $843,000 in Q1 2026. But that number hides a lot. Los Angeles, San Diego, and the Inland Empire all posted year-over-year price declines in Q4 2025, according to CAR. In the Riverside San Bernardino area, the Inland Empire, typical home values had dropped to around $575,000 by early 2026. Mortgage rates were still in the high 6% range, with Bankrate reporting a 6.54% rate as of recent weeks. When prices drop and rates stay high, people who bought near the peak with small down payments find themselves in a very tough spot. As the Sacramento appraisal blog put it earlier this year, buyers who purchased with a small down payment in recent years, think FHA and VA loans, are now the most prone to falling into negative equity. That's where the value of your home is less than what you still owe. And that group is also where most of the delinquencies are coming from nationally right now.
This isn't spread evenly across California. There are specific cities and regions where this is hitting hardest. Bakersfield has been consistently flagged in the data. According to reporting from the Mid-Valley News, Bakersfield led California in foreclosure rates, followed by parts of the Inland Empire and the Central Valley. Back in 2023, and the trend has continued, Bakersfield had 1 in every 424 homes with a foreclosure filing, making it one of the highest-ranked cities in the entire country by that measure. Stockton and Redding also showed up in the numbers. Stockton had 1 in every 623 homes with a filing. These are communities that never fully shook off the damage from 2008, and now they're facing a new wave. In Sacramento County, the data shows a slow but steady climb in distressed sales. According to the Sacramento appraisal blog's May 2026 analysis, foreclosures in Sacramento are now at a 6-year high. The author was clear, though, that this isn't a 2008-style collapse. It's a slow burn, more of a pressure building up over time than a sudden break. Los Angeles had a 32% increase in foreclosure notices in Q1 2026, according to data published by Home News in late May. Bakersfield saw a 25% jump in that same period. Sacramento and San Diego also recorded significant increases compared to a year ago. What's happening on the ground is what you'd expect. Real estate agents in these areas are starting to see more bank-owned properties, called REO listings or real estate owned, show up in the MLS. Banks want these properties off their books. They don't want to be landlords, so once a home officially becomes bank-owned, it usually gets listed.
Here's the part that matters most to the people actually living through this. If you're a homeowner in California who received a notice of default, the clock is ticking, but you're not out of options yet. Under California's Homeowner Bill of Rights, your lender is legally required to contact you and discuss alternatives before the foreclosure can move forward. From the date a notice of default is recorded, you have 90 days to catch up on what you owe and stop the process. That 90-day window is the most important stretch of time for anyone in this situation. California also bans what's called dual tracking, meaning the bank cannot legally proceed with foreclosure while a complete loan modification application is still being reviewed. If you file that application at least 5 business days before the scheduled sale, the sale has to stop. That said, California's foreclosure process moves faster than most states. Once a notice of trustee's sale is filed after that 90-day period, you could lose the home in as little than 4 months from the very first missed payment. Acting early is everything. For renters, the situation is more complicated. Some of the homes being seized right now have tenants living in them. Their landlord got foreclosed on, and they had no idea it was coming. California law gives tenants at least 90 days notice before they have to vacate a foreclosed property, but enforcement can be inconsistent. Under a state law called SB 2170, bank-owned properties must offer a 30-day window where eligible owner-occupants and nonprofits get first access to purchase the home before it's sold to an investor. It's a protection that doesn't get a lot of attention, but matters a lot right now.
You might be thinking, if all these properties are hitting the market at discounts, aren't investors just going to swoop in and buy them all? The answer right now is not the way they did in 2012. The Sacramento appraisal blog raised this question directly in May 2026, noting that some institutional buyers could theoretically purchase foreclosed properties privately before they ever hit the MLS. That's worth watching. But the broader data shows big investors are being cautious this cycle because the math is harder. Mortgage rates are still near 6.5%, which means financing isn't cheap.
Rent growth in California's inland cities has slowed significantly, making it harder to generate strong returns on rental properties purchased at current prices. Smaller local investors and house flippers are more active, but even they're being selective about which zip codes they're entering. Here's where things stand as of today, June 2026. Foreclosure starts in California are up 20% year over year. Mortgage delinquencies are at their highest rate in a decade. The FDIC has publicly flagged mid-sized banks as the most exposed to real estate loan risk. Home values in the Inland Empire and Central Valley are still below where they were at peak, and monthly foreclosure filings have gone up for 12 consecutive months straight. This is not a repeat of 2008. The experts are clear on that. Credit standards today are stricter, and most homeowners who bought before 2019 have significant equity. But this current wave is very real for the communities being hit by it, and those communities are mostly in lower and middle-income parts of California, places like Bakersfield, Stockton, Riverside, and Fresno. The homeowners caught in this aren't statistics. They're people who made reasonable decisions during an unusual market, and now they're stuck between high rates, flat prices, and banks that have been told by regulators to stop waiting. If this trend holds through the second half of 2026, expect the conversation around California housing to shift. The question stops being about when prices will rise again and starts being about who picks up the pieces when they don't. That's where things stand right now. If you're watching this market as a homeowner, a renter, or anyone trying to figure out your next move, this is the story to keep your eye on.